sudden sting hit Zyra's skin, sharp, deliberate. Laughter sliced the hallway air, cold and merciless. Her books tumbled, papers scattering like startled birds, and everyone just kept walking. No one stepped in. No one dared. But deep under the burn of humiliation, something ancient rose up in her. She straightened, locking eyes with her attacker, and in that heartbeat, the game changed. At Brookhaven High, Grayson Ward wasn't just another senior. He was the son of Marcus Ward, a defense tech CEO, and the unofficial king of the hallways. Students didn't make way for him because they liked him. They did it because they knew better. Zyra, 16, kept her head down, her red blouse crisp, navy skirt perfect, walking like someone who knew exactly how much space she was willing to give. But when Grayson told her to move from his seat on the first day of history class, she didn't. "Maybe it's time for a change," she said, eyes back on her book. That single refusal lit a fuse. For days, the tension built. Subtle bumps in the hallway, the scrape of a desk behind her. Whispers passed through his friends. Then, in the narrowest part of the hallway, it happened. His hand smacked her backside, loud enough to cut through every conversation. Phones came out. Gasps. Some smirks. She didn't yell. She just turned, looked at him, then walked away, straight into the girls' bathroom, locking a stall and pulling out her phone. Names, faces, angles, witnesses. And then, a text from an unknown number. "Stay quiet or else." The twist came 2 days later. A quiet girl named Sierra slipped Zyra a folded note. "Meet behind the auditorium." Waiting there, Sierra handed her a worn folder full of years of collected dirt, dates, photos, incidents Grayson's crew had buried. Teachers who looked the other way. Parents in high offices. All the threads led back to power. The police chief, a judge, the superintendent, and Marcus Ward. Zyra mapped their every move, knowing a direct attack would fail. Then, in the library, the school librarian Miss Patel gave her the loophole, a monthly student safety segment approved for the school's AV system. If she got it past review, no one could touch it. She had 30 minutes before the deadline. She cut faces, blurred names, kept it inside policy. At the pep rally, with Coach Ramirez guarding the AV table, she cued the video. The gym screens flickered. Calm music, the school crest, and her voice. Harm often happens where many can see it, and few will speak. Clips rolled, books knocked down, a shove. A drink accidentally spilled, all within rules. Then the slow-motion shot, Grayson's Letterman sleeve, the sharp sound of the slap, her body jolting forward. His face never shone, but everyone knew. The caption, "Inappropriate touching is harassment. You are not at fault." Parents in the bleachers stood. Reporters filmed. The crowd murmured, louder, angrier. Grayson stormed toward the AV table, mic in hand, but the feed muted him. The last slide read, "If you saw it, you can tell the truth. If you're afraid, you're not alone." When the feed ended, chaos filled the gym, applause, shouting, demands for answers. The principal slapped a no-contact order between them, but the damage to his untouchable image was done. That afternoon, an unexpected twist. Liam Turner, one of Grayson's own, pulled Zyra aside. "He didn't act alone," Liam said. "His dad made calls to make complaints disappear. I heard him, and then he walked away." Within a week, Zyra and Sierra launched the Listening Post, an encrypted site for anonymous student reports. The first tip wasn't even about Grayson. It was about a different bully in a different hallway. The wall was bigger than they'd thought. One Friday, standing in the courtyard, Sierra asked, "Do you think it'll hold?" Zyra looked at the brick facade of the school. "For now, but it's not what it used to be. Because cracks don't fix themselves, they spread. And maybe, just maybe, enough cracks could bring the wall down. So now I'll ask you, if you saw a moment where one act changed everything, would you stand back or slip the first blade of truth into the wall? Tell me in the comments. Because the fight isn't over. Not here, not anywhere." You'd think after that pep rally, things would break wide open. Truth on the screens, parents watching, reporters circling. But that's not how it works in Brookhaven. Power here doesn't crack easily. It bends first, quietly, and then pushes back harder. The Monday after, it felt like the air had been scrubbed clean of any trace of what happened. Posters for the football game covered the announcement boards. The front office smelled of lemon cleaner. like someone had tried to wipe the memory off the walls. But beneath it, there was a hum. Students glanced at her in the hall. Some quick nods, some narrowed eyes. Allies and enemies were making lists in their heads. And somewhere in that quiet division, Grayson's father was moving pieces. Zaira found out at lunch. Sierra slid into the seat across from her. Her face pale. "They've got a lawyer," she whispered. "Not just for him. For his parents. For the school. They're framing it as defamation." Zaira's fork froze over her tray. This wasn't about truth anymore. It was about drowning her in process until she couldn't breathe. That night, she met with Mason Layton again, the young attorney who'd warned her about procedures. He didn't sugarcoat it. They'll try to discredit every second of that video. If they can convince the district it damaged his future prospects, they can bury it before the investigation ends. He tapped the table. "Your shield is precision. Don't give them a single mistake to use against you." The next twist didn't come from the wards. It came from Liam Turner. Late Tuesday, he caught her outside the media lab, glancing over his shoulder before speaking. He didn't act alone, Liam said, voice low. His dad made calls after the first complaint. "I heard it." She asked him why he was telling her now, but he only said, "Because it's bigger than him, and I can't watch it happen again." Then he was gone. By Wednesday, the pushback was visible. Anonymous flyers questioning the video appeared on lockers. The administration tore them down, but the message was clear: Grayson's supporters weren't retreating. In the conference room, Zaira sat through an exhausting meeting where some parents demanded accountability and others accused her of character assassination. By the end, 2 of Grayson's friends had agreed to speak to investigators for reduced penalties. Small cracks, but cracks all the same. That night, Zaira and Sierra worked in Sierra's bedroom, laptops open, snacks forgotten on the desk. The idea came fast: a secure site where students could anonymously report harassment. They called it the Listening Post. The plan was simple. Every credible report went straight to a trusted review board of teachers and one outside counselor. By Friday, the first tip came in. It wasn't about Grayson. That was when Zaira realized the wall they were pushing against was bigger than one boy. Still, Grayson wasn't done. The following Monday, a black sedan idled by the front gates. A woman in a charcoal blazer approached her. "Zaira Morgan? I'm Marian Cole. I represent the Ward family. They'd like to speak with you privately." She handed over a heavy business card. Zaira looked past her to the car, the tinted window reflecting nothing. She didn't answer. The woman's polite smile didn't waver. Some conversations are better off the record. The car engine hummed like it had all the time in the world. She walked away. The retaliation turned subtle. Teachers who'd once smiled now looked past her. Classmates moved conversations to different group chats. The silence was meant to make her wonder if she was standing alone. But in the cafeteria, she saw it. A freshman girl with a bruise blooming along her arm, sitting alone, eyes darting toward the exit every few seconds. Zaira crossed the room, sat down without asking. "I'm listening," she said. And that was it. The moment she knew she wasn't going to fade out of this fight. By midweek, the Listening Post was filling with stories, some small, some ugly, all things that had lived in shadows. Sierra filtered them, anonymizing details, building a ledger Mason himself would have approved of. Each report was a nail in the coffin of the idea that Brookhaven's hallways were just fine. Then came the email, an invitation from the school board to present her side in a closed session. Mason read it twice. "They want to control the narrative," he said. "They'll frame this as a disciplinary issue. You need to bring only what's undeniable." They spent the night combing through files, cutting anything that could be twisted. The night before the hearing, she walked the empty football field. The bleachers were silent, the scoreboard dark. She thought of the pep rally, how a single moment had turned a gym into a courtroom. She also knew that tomorrow wouldn't be a verdict. It would be another move in a game designed to last until someone gave up. The next day, sitting across from the board, she told them only what they couldn't refute, that the footage met policy, that every consent form was signed, that no names were shown. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't have to. Her calm was the weapon. When it was over, they didn't give her an answer, just a polite dismissal. But as she stepped outside, she saw Liam leaning against the wall, phone in hand. "They're not as solid as they look," he said. "You hit something." That Friday, the courtyard felt different. No victory parade, no public apology. But whispers were louder now. Not just about her, about them. About the cracks. She stood at the edge with Sierra. Do you think it'll hold? Sierra asked again. Zaira looked at the school, the sun throwing sharp lines across its brick face. It's holding for now, she said. But it's not the same wall anymore. Because here's the thing. Walls don't crumble in one day. They wear down. One chipped edge at a time. And sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do to injustice is keep showing up, long after they think you're gone. So, tell me, have you ever seen a fight where nothing seemed to move, and then one day you realized the cracks had been there all along? Drop it in the comments. Somebody else might need to hear it.